Welcome back. This is video 3 of my away game playthrough. So we'll be mostly following the Mother Sugar Glider as per the previous videos. We must remember to aim and jump rather than jumping. Sometimes you'll make it fine, but it's just better to be safe than sorry. If you do land in the water, he can swim, but if you're not near somewhere where you can swim across to like a shoreline, you will drown. So just be aware of that. So it's better not to fall.
A swinging branch attached precariously to a vine. For most animals, this obstacle would be impossible to bypass. A fall from this height would be fatal and not worth the risk. But the sugar glider is a masterful acrobat and light on his feet. He may succeed here where others would undoubtedly fail.
So sometimes it's a little difficult to work out where to go, especially when the sugar glider mothers are sort of taken off ahead of you. But just look for those little glowing purple mushrooms or use the instinct ability and you can usually work out the pathway that you need to take. So I've just paused here to show you those roots on the rock wall. You won't use them for a little while, but it's good to know about them because in certain locations they're quite hard to see and you will need those to be able to get up a cliff sometimes.
This giant skeleton once belonged to a whale. The glider has never seen such a thing, and there's no reason he should have. But sadly, the presence of this decomposed carcass so far inland is no mystery. Seismic changes, likely a tsunami caused by the shift, no doubt deposited this unfortunate creature onto the island. The poor beast perished here, unable to return to its watery home. What remains a mystery is how sugar gliders, these tiny, intrepid mammals, have managed to survive the Earth's upheavals, while so many others have failed.
So as you can see, we've leveled up the glide ability another notch through eating, but it's also through your experience through the story as well.
Unaware of the mystery surrounding his existence, the glider explores, taking in the strange sights and smells. By necessity, our glider is active during the day, though they are usually nocturnal. He'll have to use every instinct available to him to survive this strange and hostile landscape.
So you probably notice I do tend to overeat the mushrooms a little bit, but it's mainly just to keep my health meter up rather than the glide and stamina levels. And be aware there's some little beetles and things that can actually cause you damage even though they don't look particularly menacing. So just be aware of those, like this black one on the tree. So here's a typical example of where you need to aim and jump to avoid landing in those red spiky plants, which will probably kill you instantly. So make sure you aim and jump, and if you don't have that option, which does sometimes happen, just hope for the best and glide across, and usually you'll make it, but sometimes it is a bit hit and miss on this game.
The clever glider turns a log into a vessel. A little innovation goes a long way on this island. A pathway leads to a potential nest, but what hides inside those gently swaying grasses? A cluster of spiders attacks. With their superior numbers, they could easily overwhelm the sugar gliders. Insect and arachnid populations have risen precipitously since the shift. Many of the animal and avian species that would have kept their numbers under control have been wiped out. Aggressive arachnids in competition for their own survival are an ever-present menace to sugar gliders and other small animals on the island.
So in this section, obviously the main thing you have to do is keep the spiders away from your mother. And it's very easy to kill the spiders, but there's a lot of them, so she can get overwhelmed very quickly. So just do that until you get to the cave, and then you can't actually protect the nest, as it says. All you can do is stand at the door and kill any spiders that try to come in until the story progresses to the next bit.
The habitat of the sugar glider has changed dramatically since the shift. Driven from the trees by torrential storms and forced to adapt to life on the forest floor, these tiny marsupials have shown remarkable resiliency. Where larger, brawnier animals have failed, sugar gliders continue to survive and adapt in ways that remain mysterious to us.
So this is where we get our first glimpse of the fast travel map. And when I first saw this, I wasn't actually sure what I had to do next. But you just basically have to click on the butterfly cave, which is where you are. And that'll progress the story. And the next bit of the story is basically trying to find something to help your mother who's been poisoned by a spider bite.
Butterflies, a feast for the eyes as well as the stomach. These fluttering insects will make a hearty meal for our young glider. Remarkably, the glider catches butterflies but does not eat them. Instead, he stores them for later.
So once you've caught the first pink butterfly, you can't put it down. You have to just hold on to it in your mouth and then catch the second one, and somehow it manages to do it with a butterfly in its mouth. I don't know how. But then you need to try and return to your mother. And if you have trouble, just use the instinct button to show the way back to the cave.
extraordinary. The glider has fed the butterflies to his mother, who now appears to be recovering from her spider bite. There is no reason a butterfly should provide an antidote for spider venom, and yet it appears to have done so. Is it possible the nectar or pollen the butterflies have been feeding on contains some hidden properties we are as yet unaware of? And how did the sugar glider know that this antidote would do the trick?
So obviously, as part of the overall theme of this game, which is about protecting our world, there's a reminder there that, you know, we could be destroying something that's potentially life-saving for us and animals. Some parts of this game are very dark, and especially when it's nighttime, it's hard to see what you're doing and where you're going. You can actually change the settings to make it a bit brighter for when you're playing through, so that's good. But for the purposes of this video, I'll probably brighten the video afterwards, just so you can see what's going on.
This tumbling waterfall presents a beautiful but dangerous challenge. Its splashing waters threaten to throw the gliders off course while drenching nearby nooks and crannies in slick liquid. Saviour Island is home to a wide variety of bioluminescent fungi. These glowing mushrooms, nature's nightlights, help guide the sugar gliders on their way. A complex relationship seems to exist between the gliders and these mushrooms. Sparkling sprouts that provide food, illumination, and perhaps, as has been theorized, something more. Despite these challenges, the young glider pushes upwards towards the open air. Rocks and branches covered in slippery moss make for tricky travels.
So in this section, it's quite easy to miss a jump, and you'll end up on a lower ledge or in the water below. If you do land on a lower ledge, you're going to have to go and climb all the way back up again. So sometimes it's actually better to save time just to jump into the water and drown, and then you'll respawn much closer to where you first fell. Sometimes you'll see these branches with a sort of triangular sort of end on them, and they usually act like a springboard, but for some reason this one doesn't. But later ones do, you'll find.
The glider and his family are finally back on solid ground. Now, on to the next challenge.
So as you play through the game, if you're not in a tearing hurry, just jump on any unusual looking bugs that you might not have seen before, because they could be something that's part of the collectibles. So I think I missed jumping on a firefly. But if you just wanted to enjoy the story, don't worry about it. You can always come back later in exploration mode anyway.
This gully is dominated by a skulk of foxes. These ravenous omnivores would love to have our family of sugar gliders for dinner. The gliders will have to be quick and quiet if they want to avoid being on the menu. Mother has the right idea. Darting quickly from hiding spot to hiding spot right under the fox's noses. It's a risk, but it works. Though foxes hunt, they are also skilled scavengers, adept at locating and then feeding on the decaying carcasses of other animals.
So I left this bit in where the fox got me just to show you what happens if you do get caught. You'll respawn at the top of the hill where the rock was where you started. So I've cut a bit out here so you don't have to watch the same bit of the game again. And basically just wait till the fox walks past and make sure you follow your mother.
Over time, the dead have become more plentiful than the living, and scavengers have come to dominate the island. But this imbalance cannot last forever. Eventually, food will run out for the scavengers as well. The future of life on Earth depends on whether small mammals like the sugar glider can find a way to rebound.
So I sort of lost my mother here and couldn't work out where she'd gone, but obviously she went up the tree because it's safe. But yeah, it happens a lot in this game. You sort of look around like, oh, where am I supposed to go now? But you can usually work it out because of the instinct button. That helps.
A joyous reunion. Together once more, the Sugar Glider family enjoys some much-needed rest. The vulture returns. Its arrival is sudden, leaving the gliders no time to hide or even react. There is little chance of survival. A sad reality of life on this perilous island.
So a little bit of a cliffhanger, but I'll see you in the next video as the story continues.